Parenting never stops. Once you become a parent, you remain a parent the rest of your life. Parenting adult children remains challenging. Joining me today to talk about this is Timothy Bartos, President and CEO of Baptist Health and Nursing Rehabilitation Center, Karen Henry, Assistant Priest of St. George's Episcopal Church and School in Clifton Park, and Paula Mahan, Colony Town Supervisor. Thank you so much for joining me today.
You're very welcome. It's great to be here.
Thank you. When you became a parent, did you know that parenting was going to be a never-ending job?
That's a good question.
That's a very good question. I don't think you realize it when they're little, very young. But as time goes by, you begin to realize, yes, this is a lifelong job.
I agree. When you first become a parent, it's just one of the most beautiful things that you could ever go through. And you're so involved at the time with, learning how to be a parent, and your expectations are basically focused on that period of time. But as you go through the process, you learn quickly that once you're a parent forever. It goes on forever.
And Karen?
Well, I think the relationship of being a mother or a father goes on forever, but I think parenting does have kind of a graduate degree where you do finally finish with those kind of tasks that we normally associate with parenting, because hopefully we've raised responsible, compassionate human beings who are able to make life on their own, and therefore we're no longer acting as a parent.
And you mentioned relationship. Is it a good relationship or not so good?
A good relationship? Oh, it's a wonderful relationship with adults.
I agree. It's a whole different phase, as when you say parenting, at a certain point it stops or changes, and I agree with that as well. You go into a different phase. I believe you're still a parent, but it becomes it's a whole new door is opened up where they say that children go through various stages of life, and it actually comes true as you see your child, evolve from a child to an adult. And as my children are 35 and 33.
And you have two boys?
Two boys. And I think it's true that they go through a phase as they get older, but then they come back to your values. And it's a wonderful, wonderful time of life.
I think it's very true that it never changes. I mean, it's different. You're not changing diapers, for instance, anymore. But I think that the parenting continues on. For instance, I think one of the things that, at least for me anyway, I have two boys. Yes,
How old are they?
28-year-old, 25-year-old, and a soon-to-be 20-year-old daughter. And so I think it changes, and that you still are parenting. In other words, I guess maybe the best example I can give is, for instance, I'm getting ready to refinance my house. So I consult my kids about that because they need to learn that as well, learn those skills. They haven't had to do that yet. And so things like refinancing the house or buying another car or taking out a loan or whatever, I think that in that way I'm still parenting. Exactly, and they're still learning and looking to me for some help. With real life situations, absolutely.
And Karen, you have
four children, yes.
How old are they?
The oldest is 35 and the youngest is 22.
And you're soon-to-be grandmother?
Yes. That's not worldly news, but yes, I guess it is.
Congratulations.
Both my older children are going to make me a grandmother within the same week if all works well. Yes.
And Paula, you're a grandmother as well?
Yes, I am, and you're going to love it.
Yes.
You're going to absolutely
looking forward to it.
So would you say that when your children were young, you tried to fit them in your lives, but now as an adult, do you try to fit in their lives? Does it change?
Who wants to answer that first?
I had a problem with that image of fitting children into my lives. I guess I feel like my children are my life, or certainly were my life. And what's transformed so enormously as they've become adults is that now it's more of a relationship of friendship, where I can be their friends, and that's such a glorious new thing.
So it's not a good idea then to be friends when they're younger, but
I believe
make that transition.
That's a great mistake that many mothers make, is trying to be their best friends when they're still teenagers, perhaps, because the teenage girls particularly are still trying to differentiate from their mothers at that point. They need to go through adulthood, and then they can begin to understand that their mothers are real human beings, that their mothers have had struggles and difficulties just like they have through life, and you can really become best friends and learn from one another.
So don't worry about, okay, I have to be the parent when they're younger and be the strict one, and that will come after.
Yes, yes, you need to wait for it patiently.
At some point, that just kind of evolves.
It
just kind of
does.
changes,
The relationship
and
evolves
you become
into
the
a
friend that you're speaking of, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I think if you tracked several children with their families, they may have different experiences, but they go through similar stages and phases. And you know, those younger years are really, you know, building blocks. You're building a foundation. They're learning, and you're teaching them, you know, values and how to care, and be compassionate, and those types of things that you want them to carry on into adulthood. So again, it's different phases and different experiences as you go along the way.
Okay.
Yes, you know, Paula, we have a wonderful parenting book. It's called the Book of Proverbs, and it does say, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. So I think that's what Paula was just saying about when we train our children as young children, they will not depart from it. They will learn those lessons and keep them, even if they rebel and test them.
Absolutely right, but you do try to instill the values and character, moral values, and you hope that they have learned that and pick that up and carry it on, absolutely.
Now, I don't know because my children are still very young, but I hear that it's very hard to let go. Was it hard for either one of you to let go? When they go off to college, they're on their own now.
I will say for me, it was difficult for me.
It was difficult for Dad to let go.
As we were just saying, it's a new phase, it's a different phase, it's an exciting phase, so I'm happy about it. But it was a little tough for me.
Now, why was it tough? What exactly
I don't know. I've been asking myself that. Why was it tough? I really don't know the answer to that. But it was. But I think I'm beyond that now. And as I said, I've moved on to that new phase and that friendship phase that you were just speaking about. So.
How about you, Paula?
Yeah, again, I think it's tough because it's emotional. It's a different milestone for us in our lives as well. And I guess if you talk to my husband, I'm the typical Italian mother that, you know, he would say I have difficulty letting go. But actually, it's really, it's a time of their lives where you've worked all those years to teach them how to be a good person. And as they go on, you want them to have independence and make choices on their own. They'll make mistakes and they'll have great achievements, but it's all part of the whole experience. Yes, so I think it's emotional when you get to that stage as a parent, but you're also very happy that you're at a point in your life where you're happy for your children. You want them to experience what we felt when we were, you know, going from teenagers to, you know, young adults. So it's an emotional time.
How about you, Karen?
Well, I think all of life is a lesson in letting go. So yes, our children are probably the most critical examples of that. And you know, much of our letting go has scratch marks on it.
That's right.
Yeah.
And part of it might be acknowledging, too, that we're getting older.
Yes.
That's the part you don't want to, right?
Sometimes that's difficult.
Part of letting go.
Yes.
Do you think maybe that's why parents don't want to let go?
I think parents don't want to let go because it becomes so much of their identity. I know for me, when my children started going off to college and they were no longer underfoot, so to speak, that was a tremendous transformation for me because I was no longer responsible for making sure that they had meals at a regular time. I didn't know how late they were staying out at night or what they were watching on TV or who their friends were. There was a whole level of letting go.
How about when they got married, for example? You have two sons that got married. Did you feel demoted because now there was someone else in their lives and mommy's not as important?
Absolutely not. If anything, I felt like our family expanded because we gained a new son and a new daughter. Most definitely.
How about you, Paula?
Yeah, I agree. You know, my daughter-in-law is absolutely, you know, just a wonderful person and a great addition to our family. And and her family as well. We just all enjoy each other. So, you know, it was not like losing a son. It was like it's gaining a daughter and gaining an extended family that we just all have a good time together, and we're very fortunate.
And don't you find they also bring a new perspective to your family dynamics?
Yes.
I mean, because they can actually help you laugh about things that are
Right,
going on
right,
that
right.
you didn't
Tim,
even.
you haven't
Well, I was going to
experienced
say,
that
I
yet.
haven't experienced it
Yeah?
yet, but from what I'm hearing,
Yeah?
of course, I'm looking forward to it, and I hope that each of them can find somebody special in their lives, and I look forward to that person becoming part of our family. Absolutely.
Now, what kind of advice would you give to parents out there in your situation? You know, parents taking care of adults. What kind of parenting, what kind of support are they looking for now?
The parents or
The children.
what kind of support are they looking for as young adults?
Yes.
I think the real support is being praised for their successes, for the accomplishments in life. I think that's something that parents need to do for their children and don't do it enough. Children need to know they're being blessed.
How do you do that?
Oh, by telling them all the time.
Reminding them. Sure.
Reminding them, you know, that was a great job. Or, you know, the way you just dealt with your best friend in that situation, you showed so much compassion. I mean, I'm just awed by your ability to be that kind of compassionate human being. That's the first support. Second support, I would say, is letting them know that you yourself are a human being and that you have failed and that you've had trials and
Very
tribulations.
true.
And that's an important lesson as adults, to be able to share your own stories with your children
And not
so
keep it
that
from
they
them.
don't feel that they have to be these perfect
Perfect.
human beings.
That's right, they don't. And you can do that, as we said, when they get older and you become more of a friend, an adult friend to your kids than when they're younger.
Yeah, I think you know, when they become young adults, it's like everyone else. They want to be you know, praised, and you know, they want us to acknowledge when they've done something, you know, really good. They if they make a mistake, they're looking for some help and understanding. It's pretty much as we as adults, if we do a good job, you know, in our careers or whatever, we make a major accomplishment, it feels good when somebody says you're doing a good job. And your children are no different. I think one mistake that parents can make is that they, you know, stop telling their children, you know, what they mean to them, and that they are doing a good job and you're proud of them. That conversation should continue throughout life.
Absolutely.
And that you love them.
Right.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your advice
Pleasure
was
to be
great.
here.
Thank you so much. And if you have a question about the topic, or if you have a question for one of these parents, just log on to my website, parentologywithpaula.com.